By now, most of us have seen the humiliating video of Patriot Front members training with their fancy painted metal shields in the fields of Virginia that was leaked by internet heroes Unicorn Riot. Today we're going to take a critical look at the techniques and tactics used by PF and how they would apply in a real-world, hand-to-hand situation against anti-fascists. There is a lot to be observed and learned from their mistakes, and we can utilize their ignorance against them. Our first observation is that just about every Patriot Front member holding a shield is standing in a way that makes their centers of gravity too high, especially when attacking. They stand very tall, and many have their knees locked in place. This allows an anti-fascist to easily manipulate the shield or body of the fascist by changing angles or levels, and applying forward force in conjunction with another direction like up, down, or sideways, which will knock them off balance. Whether changing positions in formation or circling around to react to attackers, almost every PF member crosses their feet when moving. There is no shuffling or sidestepping into position while maintaining an appropriate stance, only a clumsy and unbalanced movement. This provides an attacker an advantage in balance and speed. Any anti-fascist can easily push them over or manipulate the shield holder whatever way they desire by simply moving forward. It is also worth noting that there is no subtle shifting from one formation into another. When they change positions, it looks like a scene from a police academy movie, not the highly organized militia movement they're failing to perpetrate. The spacing between members does not provide mutual support for their comrades in any meaningful way. Not only for people beside them on either side, but there's no support from the second line to the first line, people on the flanks, and so forth. They happen to have drag handles on their plate carriers, but no one is close enough to actually drag someone away, let alone brace them for an oncoming charge. For a group that uses the Roman fasces as a symbol, they really don't have even the most tenuous grasp of shield wall or line tactics. If you observe the hand placement of the right hand, the hand not strapped to the shield, is very poor for support. They also tend to hunch down into their shoulders, much like a turtle. This takes away all power and stability from the neck and shoulders and places all the stress on the arms. Any anti-fascist applying forward pressure on either side of the shield will easily get through, even if they were to have their shields overlapping with each other, if they use this poor backup hand placement and/or continue hunching their neck and shoulders turtle style. Kicking the shield towards the face would also be effective. Their clumsily engineered shields are strapped poorly for the way they are holding them perpendicular out in front of their bodies. Many also have their shield angled down towards their legs, or are resting it on their leg. In either case, that will injure the shield user if an anti-fascist pushes or kicks forward, down, or both at the same time. This flawed strapping design also makes it easier to manipulate their shield with your hands, giving you lots of options in which to disarm or abuse the unsuspecting fascist. They were not protecting their faces or heads with their shields, even though they have holes for vision. More so, they have their faces right by these sharp metal corners, which allows any anti-fascist the opportunity to use a quick jolting shove or kick to turn that defensive weapon into an offensive one. Just imagine if a Patriot Front member is holding it right next to their eye. Also of note are the holes in the shields, which make it easier for water, paint, or whatever to get onto the shield holder. Why are there no helmets or eye protection being worn? They wear shin guards, and some have padded gloves, but no one is wearing protection for their heads or face. The caps and thin plastic head covers are no real protection, let alone the cheap sunglasses, and I doubt they have good enough reflexes or awareness to block a punch, let alone a projectile from a concerned citizen. If the Patriot Front members do end up wearing helmets and the like when battling anti-fascists or the state, something they will discover is how awkward and bulky the protective gear seems wearing it in the heat of the moment. Whatever gear you plan on fighting in, you should practice wearing it all when training, so that you're physically conditioned to wearing it in combat situations, and you know its capabilities ahead of time. There is a very slow and uncoordinated effort at regrouping after being attacked. This video shows multiple times after being attacked, or even just practicing shifting and moving in their formation, that these pathetic excuses for LARPers can't even achieve the simplest of defensive maneuvers, let alone show awareness of their fellow members and what they are doing or how to react. Every member looks around for direction and awaits another person to move or take the lead. Anti-fascists can easily exploit this gigantic flaw by overwhelming them. The funniest observation is they just let a guy through. Like, what is even the point of practicing if it's that easy? A group of 3 people walk into them and are met with minimum resistance, allowing only one person to be kept at bay for any significant amount of time. If Patriot Front regularly practices like this or promotes this level of competency, then it is worth noting that when they train, it's at a moderate amount of intensity, as if they only expect that level of resistance and never pressure test with scenarios that have more serious physical implications. That's only 3 people, and they were trying to be kind to the Patriot Front members. Imagine what we can do. Our final observation is no one seems to be in command, observing, or issuing orders, and no one seems to know the drill. This whole scenario was very poorly planned and executed even worse. For a group that boasts having military and law enforcement members, their group tactics are pure amateur shit and can be easily disrupted by a small coordination of disciplined anti-fascists. Or a wily group of enraged Black Bloc out only to cause chaos. Patriot Front would immediately become demoralized and fall apart as they lack both discipline and heart. After studying videos of these losers training, marching, and defending themselves from citizens that rightfully didn't want them in their neighborhood, anyone can make the assumption that while as an organization, Patriot Front puts out an optic that they spend a lot of time on vetting and organizing their members, in all reality they are poorly trained and loosely organized. Anytime they are seen in large groups marching in a city, it's because they're pulling from every group all over the country to present the illusion of a large presence in one area. Because of how infrequently they assemble in large groups to practice, it is really difficult for them to be successful as a group in any capacity. This information was written, recorded, edited, and distributed by anti-fascists for anti-fascists, with explicit intent to shut down Patriot Front and all other fascist organizations in the U.S. and every other area of the world. Hopefully we do a better job of keeping this out of their hands than they did with their videos. But if not, we have a message for Patriot Front and all other neo-Nazi organizations. We're coming for you.